And thanks everybody for being here. It's an honor for me to be here. I'm Tony Perez. I'm the Associate Vice President for Student Health and Wellbeing at the University of Alabama, and very pleased, proud, and honored to be a part of this program tonight. It's also my honor to introduce Joseph King, who's a senior at the University of Alabama, a 21-year-old native of Birmingham. Joseph is pursuing a degree in news and creative media. Joseph is our second in our line of speakers and will present on dismissing negative societal expectations of masculinity of Black men. Joseph King.
Good evening. How everybody doing? But yeah, my name is Joseph King, and yeah, Men's Story Project kind of fell in my lap unexpectedly. I was in my fraternity brother Tariq's office on campus just shooting the bull. Actually, Tariq is here today, by the way. And Tariq and I have a friendship where we can have in-depth conversations about social justice and topics that affect the Black community. This particular day, I think I was discussing hypermasculinity and the effects it has on young Black men in our communities. Another faculty member heard me talking, presented the idea of doing Men's Story Project. She's actually here today too. I was skeptical at first because I thought I needed to present a poem or a monologue or something theatrical. But after I put some thought into it, I decided I could say something that could positively translate to other Black people, especially young Black men that could resonate with me. Some things that came to my mind to discuss was showing emotion, breaking gender and societal constructs, and not allowing the media or society to tell you how you quote unquote supposed to act, or how you quote unquote supposed to feel, and how these things can result to death and depression. I think hypermasculinity has affected the way Black men think about expressing emotion. Showing emotion has always been a sign of sensitivity for men, especially for Black men. And sometimes it's our own people that put this on us. For instance, I'm a lighter complected dude, and if I'm showing any emotion ranging from anger to sadness, then I'm acting like a light skin. Now, this started as a joke in our community, but this has led to our folks really believing this, and has led to Black men believing expressing sadness is a sign of weakness or something. Showing emotion is not only a task for Black men, but our Black women as well. In the workplace or professional setting, Black women don't have the luxury to express themselves assertively without being labeled as the quote unquote angry Black woman, or Black men being labeled as unprofessional or a thug. The perfect example is in sports. Say Odell Beckham or Cam Newton show emotion on the field, and it becomes a topic on how they acting like a diva or something. While Tom Brady can get fired up, and it's like, oh, look how fierce of a competitor he is. The same thing happens to Serena Williams all the time as well. I believe the media has had a huge part in perpetuating this hypermasculinity for Black men. The perfect example comes to my mind is Tupac. As many people know, Tupac was a well-known rapper in the 90s, and is considered by many as the greatest rapper of all time. Tupac had this gangster rapper persona that the media helped perpetuate. Now, don't get me wrong, Tupac definitely embraced this while he was alive, but he was so much more than that. But the media and society tended to spotlight his thug characteristics. While he was living, many people didn't know he went to the Baltimore School of Performing Arts and practiced ballet and acting. People didn't know he wrote poetry, or about him taking care of his family and helping many other Black families. Honestly, if it wasn't for this hyper-masculine archetype that so many of our young Black brothers try to live up to, there's a chance Tupac could still be alive today. The night Tupac was fatally shot, he got into a fight with his entourage because they saw a guy that allegedly stole a member of their entourage chain. Later that night, it is believed that the guy that they stumped out was the person that pulled the trigger, lining up the BMW Tupac was in that night that led to his death. Now, regarding breaking gender and societal constructs, the example that comes to my mind is me. My freshman year in college, I was blessed to meet this group of girls that I'm close friends with still today. This group of young Black women opened my eyes to different issues that my privilege of being a cis heterosexual man didn't allow me to see. For instance, I've always loved everyone and have never judged someone because of what they identify as or how they look. I have a blood disorder called hemophilia, and I grew up wearing a helmet. So I used to see people pointing at me or hear people making rude comments about me. So I would never do the same to someone else. But after my friendship with them, I consider myself to be an ally to the LGBTQ plus community, especially the Black LGBTQ plus community. My relationship with my friends made me realize that being an ally means speaking up for people when they aren't in the room to defend or speak up for themselves. Being friends with a predominantly girl group also made me realize another problem in our community, which is the sexual expectations we put on ourselves. When other guys on campus ran into me, the first thing they used to ask me was, which one you knocking down, or which one you smashing, as if I'm not allowed to have a platonic relationship with a group of attractive women. Then once I tell them, oh, it's nothing like that, we're just friends, then they'll try to challenge my sexuality. I believe this over-sexualization of Black men, not only that we put on ourselves, but by the media and society, contribute to so many other problems going on in society. For instance, say a young brother takes a lady out on a date or something and pays for a meal and everything like he's supposed to do, right? Now, at the end of the night, he takes her back home, they chill and whatnot, and spend quality time. Now, the next day, he goes back to his homeboys. They tell him about the date. They ask, well, did you smash? And he says, no, we just hung out. And now they're going off calling him a simp and whatnot, and straight pressuring him. I believe this pressure Black men put on one another can lead to sexual assault and sexual abuse and many other problems. These hypermasculine expectations we put on ourselves is draining. Black men have these expectations on how they're supposed to act or look like. For instance, I'm a member of the fraternity Omega Psi Phi. Many people have this ideal of how men of Omega are supposed to look like or act like. And this can lead to many brothers feeling pressured to live up to these expectations when that's not the case. I refuse to allow what other people think I should act result in the way I do act, or allow what society believes who I am results in who I am. And that's how I want to end my story. I want these young Black brothers to not allow what the media or society say to define their masculinity and not to be afraid to be themselves.